Should body count matter, yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, wait, well, here, let me start over here, and then
sorry.
we'll come to that. That's fine.
For the man or the woman?
Both?
I think kind of. I think it's more about how you go about your relationships, regardless of the number, and how like you treat each partner and how you enter and exit those engagements. And that should be more reflective of like you than just a number. So yes and no.
What was the question?
Should body count matter?
Yeah, for the most part.
It's a conversation
What
I
are
don't
you
like
pouring?
to talk. Ask. It's.
Wait, what?
What are you
It's
pouring?
nasty.
Water?
What does it matter? Why do you want to know? Like with your partner, so you know, it's just one of those things where it's like that was your life, this was my life. That's not who I am, or that's not who you are, and stuff. It's like meet me where. It's not a subject that you want to discuss.
You are
like,
so far away from the microphone. I don't think
It's
anybody
not
can
a
hear you.
subject to discuss. It's like
Body count?
what's the point of you telling me you screwed an X amount? It's like, am I supposed to be impressed or grossed out? Like, you know, it's not something that I would like talking about.
You don't like talking about body count?
No, that's nasty.
Do you ask
Because
your
yes,
partner?
there are diseases out there. I'm sorry.
But you can't get a disease from talking about body count.
But I'm not going to judge someone on body count and stuff either.
So it doesn't matter to you whatsoever?
I don't want to know.
Oh.
Like even if you're
so I
dating
think
that
that what
person.
you're saying
It's
is that
like-
it does matter to you because
But,
if it was
okay.
high, it
It's
would
like if you
bother
need to go to the bathroom for whatever reason, I do not need to know what your reason is to go to the restroom. That is your business. You know?
Word. Okay. Well,
Go to the bathroom,
here's a
boo.
different question. Would it upset you if a guy who, either on a first, second date, if a guy asked you what your body count was?
I think that would be kind of like an immature, that would be like me, hard pass on you, I gotta go.
Okay, I'll come back to that. I want to get everyone's answer on this though. Go ahead, and then we'll come back around.
I would want to know why he needs to know, because if it really, like that guy's comment, he was like, it was so in depth and stuff, but I don't know if all men are thinking that deep into it, or they're just like, oh, is she ran through or not, or whatever. But it's like, I would want to know why, and if you are someone to make snap judgments on people, if they asked me and wanted to know my whole sexual history, I'd have no problem being open. But if they just wanted to like call me a slut if it was over a certain number, then I'd be like, fuck off.
No, but they might want to use it as a criteria for disqualifying you from pursuing you further.
I honestly think that's fair. If that's what they want in a partner, that's what they want.
Sure.
If that's part of their criteria, maybe that's not somebody I want to be with. We're not a match.
Yeah.
Move on.
Okay.
Like, there you go.
What about you?
Oh yeah,
Wait, what? Yeah?
it does. Does it
No.
matter? You said does it matter? Was that the
No,
question?
the question, I
Sorry.
switched it to,
Oh, okay.
would you take an issue if a guy was asked you on a first or second date or something fairly early on, let's say,
Yeah, early on is
about your body
disrespectful.
count?
Yeah, I think that's it's not disrespectful as much as it is like immature and novice, and it's just like
It's immature and novice? Okay.
yeah, it's more of a question that you ask once you are willing to consider like settling down with them. Or
That's when you
something.
should ask the question?
Or not settling down.
What
as
if you
in
didn't want to
marriage.
waste time? What
But
if
like,
you
Well, if I didn't
But
want to
with it-
waste time, I'll ask for your bank statements. It's like, all right, let's see the bank statement. You want to know my body count? Let's get that personal then. It's just, there's certain things that it's tacky.
Well, the difference there, I would say, is there's no way to, I mean, you can look at a woman's behavior, you can sort of look at their appearance and make, to some degree, a judgment over potential promiscuity or body count. But if a guy tells you that he's a mechanical engineer in this city, you can just go on to, what's the website where you can look at people's...
Like white pages,
profile
like what,
of
Yeah, well, there's
Job.
there's websites where you can just like
see how much they
just a
earn.
background check
like
type of thing.
no, not see
can
how
find
much
their salary.
specifically they earn, but you say here's their age.
Oh,
like,
Glassdoor?
Like Glassdoor,
yeah,
you can
got
see.
you.
Okay, a software engineer in San Francisco is making likely to be making X amount. So I mean, if someone tells you they're a certain career, you're going to have a sense of their earnings. It's not foolproof, but whereas with body count, it's kind of up in the air.
Yeah, but I've misread guys before, and then like once we get into the body count conversation, like their body count is significantly like just lower than I thought it would be. I'd be like, oh, you're like a 30, 40, you're an entertainer, you do this, you do that, and they're like, nope, been with a handful of chicks in my whole life, and it's really like, but then it starts clicking as I see like how do they treat women outside and all this other stuff.
Well, I feel like as dudes, I mean, you have to go through. I mean, me personally, like I went through, a stage where I was knocking them down or whatever. But as you get older, like you realize, well, like now I only have sex with women that I would date. So if I wouldn't even date you, I won't even have sex with you because it's a waste of time. I'm busy. I don't have time to do all that.
It's interesting. Some people don't have to go through the hoe phase to see that too.
Well, yeah, true. But a lot of guys can't even have a hoe
entails,
phase. A guy has to be able to have a hoe phase. Like any girl can have a hoe phase, but a guy every
think he
guy
needs
can't
to.
have a hoe phase.
I think a
Yeah,
guy
that's true.
doesn't
I agree.
have to have a hoe phase.
Where are you going with it?
I just think that there's
like,
different levels
did you have a
of
point?
like
You got
emotional
infinite.
intelligence. Like for me, yeah, I'm
agree with you. I
older,
thought you were
and
saying
I shouldn't have been here because I'm older. Because it's a different crowd. However, it's like if someone were to start a conversation with me like that, I would be like, my brain cells does
Eric,
not really have the capacity for this conversation.
Can you close the door, Eric?
I think that. Can I jump in? Okay.
Let me have her go
okay.
first. So if a guy on a first or second date asks you, "What's your body count?"
I obviously
take an issue with it?
I'm always upfront with
Okay.
everybody that I'm talking about, my friends,
Yeah.
my family, everybody. If somebody asks me my body count, like that's something I can't even give because I don't personally know. But I don't think it's a respectful thing.
You think it's not respectful?
Yeah.
You know what else is not respectful? People being on their phones while we're
So
in the middle of a
I
conversation.
literally hate when people do that.
Yeah, you're literally on your
Yeah,
phone
it's so
right
annoying.
now, literally.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
so yeah, you were on your phone. Okay, so what about you?
I think that body count does matter, and it's indicative of a lot of things. I think that when bringing up that conversation, I think if first date, guy just comes off super blunt with it, I'm going to be like, okay, that was distasteful. But I think that if I'm going on a second or let's say third date with somebody, I have significant interest in them because I'm not wasting my time going on a third date with some guy I don't see a future with in any sense. And hopefully that's the same back. So if on the third date he asks that question in a respectful sense, then I think that is definitely something that should be disclosed.
First date.
But
First date. He's not being a dickhead about it, but he's just like,
no,
hey, listen,
it's all in delivery. Everything is in
okay,
delivery.
here's the framing. It's not like, what's your body count, whore? The framing is, hey, listen, I'm not interested in something casual. I'm looking for something serious.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to think that body count matters. Just, it's something that's important to me. I would like to know what your body count is.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it important? Because of everything else we spoke about?
Let me come back to that, but I'll tell you why body count's important. But if he framed it in that way, would that still be disrespectful or rude?
No, I like honestly, I think the elegant thing to do would say, okay, well, what's the number that's too high for you? And if he said 5,
then I say
depending
5.
on who I am, depending on who I am and what my actual count is,
Shame.
I would say, thank you so much for taking me out. I'd leave half the bill and I'd leave. Or I would say, my number's under that and I'm glad we both value this thing.
Oh, wow.
What's yours?
You're so cordial.
I mean,
That's-
I suppose that's one way
That's
to do it. Okay.
Wait, but I think that if a man sleeps with a woman and then asks her body count and acts like it matters to him, he's out the window. I think that is just garbage.
That's gross.
Wait, what's gross?
So let's say a man sleeps with a woman
Uh-huh.
and he has this, idea in his head, or I shouldn't say, idea in his head. If he has this, if he's, has the motive to be in expectation of being in a long-term or looking for a long-term thing, and he sleeps with a woman and then asks what her body count is because it matters to him, shame on him, because he didn't, then she probably would not have done what she did if she knew
Is that
his
if that's like
opinion on it.
Oh, sorry.
Not necessarily, but
If that's the biggest pre-qualifier, I think that's like I said, the most novice and immature pre-qualifier ever.
it's immature to care about a woman's promiscuity.
Immediately, And promiscuity, as in like how long ago is that, past and present and future, whatever. But like, why aren't you thinking about like how is she in public? How does she treat you? How does she speak to her family? Does she even like those things are so much more important, and you can't just get everything hashed out in one date. So that's why I think like the first date, that does not make sense.
Just be with someone that has the same values that you. Some men want a freak that has a ton of experience. Some want a little innocent virgin. If they don't like who you are, don't be with them. Don't feel personalized. Just move on. Like, honestly, like it's really like not. It's only as deep as you make it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to put your value as a human being on your body count, that's on you.
Yeah.
And vice versa. If people want to do that
But I
to
think
you
it's dumb.
and you take their opinion to heart, that's
Yeah,
on
but so
you.
many women have a serious issue with this being a preference that men have.
I get that.
A lot of women, I mean, a couple women at the
Find
stable
a man
have
that
it.
doesn't.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know that your
Wait,
Would-
before I have you go, did you get to give your take on this?
Oh, I think body
Like if
counts.
a guy asked.
I wouldn't care.
on the-
No.
Okay.
I think it's important.
Okay.
I think it's about self-respect for yourself. They want to know you respect yourself.
Sure.
Got high standards, yeah.
Okay, cool. What about, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, did you know that when you have sex with a guy, his DNA is inside of you,
Like forever? Or
Yeah,
like
forever.
for, like,
like
6
there's
years
a
or
there's
something?
a,
Yeah.
s-
I heard
a
that.
s-
Even with
study
the
or
Oh, I've heard of this.
yeah, like you she
like-
couldn't even donate bone marrow because like this guy's wife tried to donate bone marrow, but she couldn't because
She had
his
Too much semen
DNA was
part
like
of her
was
bone
part
marrow.
of her bone
so
marrow. So every time you
that's
share,
why sex is so spiritual.
Yeah,
It's
so
like so important.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think it's the highest connection you can choose to have with
So,
someone.
like,
and I
that's
think
why-
that's why she had a
Sex-
low body count.
Yeah.
Because it's so
I
spiritual.
think sex is so such a
Sacred.
big thing and should be a valued thing. The same reason that sexual assault is so awful.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
if,
so- yeah,
punching someone in the
traumatizing.
face is not the same as
yeah.
sexually assaulting someone, because high-fiving someone is not the same as making love.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
That was so simple.
All right, another
Love
one
that.
bites the dust.
She got work in the morning.
Nobody
She
can-
got a nurse.
Nobody can